Welcome back from the dead. Can't kill bad grass. Sorry, as usual, I'm just finishing eating. Literally 10 seconds before I turn the camera on, so I'm sure I'll be burping everything up. If not, rushing to the bathroom. So, gallbladder surgery was a success, if you call it that. I guess as usual, I should have taken into account the grumpy luck that I always tell you all about, because yeah, simple recovery. I'm supposed to have gone back to work Monday or Tuesday. I have not been back to work yet. So, yep. For those who don't know, gallbladder surgery, but at least I won't be on the hotel floor grabbing my chest thinking I'm dying for 6 hours with tears in my eyes. So I have 5 incisions across my stomach, and it's not good. It's very small incisions because it's laparoscopic, but there's one decent sized incision right above the belly button, and for some reason that one will not quit bleeding. So I got to keep gauze on top of it. I really can't be wearing a shirt, but I figured that I really don't want to just see a still screen the whole time. So for y'all, I'll put a shirt on for a little while, and as soon as the video's over with, the shirt comes off. So and then also I got this pain right here in my side for some reason. Can't figure out why. I had to go back to the hospital 3 days ago, go in the machine, do the dye, and do the CT scan. My insurance company is going to love that, to try to make sure that I don't have something still lodged in here, and make sure I don't have any kind of infection going on, because I shouldn't be having this kind of problems breathing. I'm at a point, that's why I did the live, is if I take normal breaths and don't get too excited, so y'all don't, mention no keywords here that get me excited. And as long as I don't have to take deep breaths, I'm okay. If you see me burp hard, or if you see me sneeze or cough, there will be tears in my eyes, because it literally feels like I'm getting shot, like a gunshot in my side every time I cough or sneeze. And it's weird because I'll start to sneeze and the pain is so excruciating, it makes the sneeze go away, so you can never fully sneeze. So that hurts. But if you do fully sneeze, you literally think you want to look down thinking you got a hole in you. That's how much the pain is. But I'm at a point, and also I'm trying to wean myself off the painkillers, because I got a prescription painkiller that I was taking 4 times a day. I don't want to keep taking those things. I'm scared messless of them. I've known too many people that have gotten messed up with them. So I'm hard-headed. The doctor tells me if you're really in pain and having these issues, you can take it, but I don't want to. So I'm sure that's probably why I'm still in pain too. It is what it is. Retro Mic Tech, $9. I appreciate it. $9.99 super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So, while I have been sitting here watching countless reruns of The Rifleman on the Old Westerns channel, I've watched so many episodes of The Rifleman that now I'm starting to see the reruns between that. And I showed y'all in the Monday video I did the old cartoon channel, Tunes or whatever it is. And my daughter who's also home right now, because it's summer break from high school, she's probably had enough of The Rifleman and Bugs Bunny and Super Friends cartoons that I've watched Harry Potter movie marathon. And listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I have friends calling me from work thinking I'm getting stir crazy being at home. For those who don't know, I have 355 days left of work before I'm fully vested with 30 years and I can retire. And if this is what retirement's going to be like, I'm counting down 355 days. I'm telling y'all right now. I can do a drop after if I want to make additional money. But I'm going to tell you, I'm not stir crazy to go back to work. I have enough stuff around here to keep me busy. I have enough stuff, enough things to watch on TV. I have one of these TV programs that basically gives you everything. And I'm not ready to go back to work. That's for sure. But tomorrow, for those who don't know, is my birthday. So I have lived to see the big 50. I don't know how much celebrating will be getting done. There won't be any Bywater bourbon being drank, unfortunately. Not going out for drinks or nothing like that. I'll be here recovering and watching some more TV, messing with a little bit of crypto stuff, keeping an eye on my crypto things. But I'll be honest with y'all. Earlier this week, I was in so much pain, I was not keeping up with the crypto stuff. So, appreciate it. Appreciate everybody. Milk Max, or Man X, Milkman. Evening. How you doing? But there's been a lot of things going on. I don't know what I want to hit on first, but I guess the first thing is Entropy. You know, that's one of the biggest projects that I'm in between Entropy and Wingbits. I'm gonna save Wingbits for a little bit to get a couple more people in here. But Entropy did an announcement where they are planning on another drop of they had NFT, another post mint, I don't know. But for those who are already in the project, you could do more of NFTs. I did a video on that, and I don't even know if they're still going on or not. I did purchase several more NFTs because I look at it like this. For those of y'all in the Entropy project, right now, if I try to sell Entropy because I need money, you can't sell Entropy. The deleter will start counting to a certain point. You get so many strikes on the bottom and stuff like that. However, you can buy NFTs with your Entropy and not get punished. So look at B13. That gave me $5. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. But going back to Entropy, you can't sell your Entropy, but you can buy NFTs. You can buy NFTs and not get punished by deleter. Therefore, at some point, there will not be NFTs anymore being sold to the public. There's going to be a mint coming up at some point. Supposed to be around this time. I think it said next week or two for the public. But at some point, they're going to run out of NFTs and people have to buy NFTs. So if I can sell NFTs that I don't need to the public for 1 or 1.5 Solana, then technically I'm selling my Entropy and I'm getting my ROI back between the Ashlars that I bought. I didn't pay for any of the NFTs when you think about it, because that came from my Entropy that I mined. You know, so that's kind of how I'm looking at that idea. You know, some of y'all have kind of said y'all agreed with that idea. Y'all tell me what y'all think. But I know a couple of days ago, they said this will be the post pre-mint is about to end. And it says 2 days ago, but I'm gonna tell y'all yesterday, I did purchase some NFTs from the website. So if y'all are still into maybe looking at that, if y'all are curious about it, go take a look and y'all will be able to see, you know, if y'all can still purchase them or anything like that. So it says it's complete. These are the final numbers. They burned over 2.8 million ENT. But again, I'm going to tell y'all, I was able to purchase. So I don't know what happened to. And it shows up in my wallet. So maybe at some point they cut it off. Whitelisted wallets may now mint. So again, I have to catch up on some of this stuff. That's funny. So I wish to contact. So minted and been flagged by the mint system. The bots failed to mint. You wouldn't know if you failed to mint because you still get the converted miner. Second, your wallet, make sure you receive any fees. So if you have minted, check your wallet, make sure it worked. I know that, like I said, when I go to my wallet, I can see my NFT that I minted 4 or 5 months ago. And then the one that we just did in the post pre-mint, it shows up as a second one. So I have not gone and looked at my Phantom wallet to see if any of that changed already. Let me see, collectibles. So apparently when I go to Entropy, let's see if I can do a screen capture of this. You'll have to bear with me. Y'all know live. We're doing it live. But yeah, this ain't gonna be confusing for y'all at all. All these screens. This is my YouTube screen so I can see y'all's messages. But as you can see, this is my main Entropy page. So when I go to collectibles, you can see my NFTs from them. But I have an Entropy A, 3 allocations for the Entropy A. Now this is the one from, this would be the one from, for 4 or 5 months ago. And then this is the one, as you can see, it looks different. And this is the one that you don't know if you get the snake, a whale, a monkey or whatever like that, or something else. So this wallet has it. And I got a couple of other wallets also that have these NFTs. So now another announcement was Helium Deploy came out and said they got another drop of Ashlars coming. For everybody who's used my code in the past, I seriously appreciate it. It really helped me out. Y'all know that I'm going to take 10% of, for the next buy, 10% of whatever I make. I'm not going to promise the 100 anymore because, again, 10% of, you know, $60-something mine or $160-something miners, I only get half of that. So last time I promised I'd buy 100 and burn it. When I'm getting 5%, I didn't get to 100. So I promised people at least 100. So I did 100 out of my own pocket. This time, which I still got to do a video on that. So that's on me. Again, I've been a little busy the last 2 weeks. So I still owe y'all that video of me buying 100 and burning. But this time I'm not making that mistake. I'll take 10% of whatever I make from y'all using my code, and we'll burn it as a way of burning. Even though they've been burning billions and billions of Entropy, we're going to go over the price action a little bit, but here's Ashlar Drop 3, July 14th. And listen, you would think a lot of people have these already, but in both of these instances, these sold out in hours. In hours. Y'all know my code. Very easy. GrumpyDad56. Hey, I use my, you know, I'm like, for those of y'all who used to watch Married with Children, Al Bundy, use my high school football number and everything. So, because I use it in everything, I've had to go change passwords, email passwords, and all these other passwords and stuff. Cause I used to have 56 and everything. And slowly, because I've been so paranoid about all the stuff I've seen with crypto and stuff, I have slowly, I don't realize how many passwords you got until you just keep going to stuff and get passwords. But I have slowly taken that number out of all my passwords. But when I need a number for something like this that I don't mind sharing, I'll put the jersey number and everything. That's where Grumpy, because somebody asked me one time, where does the 56 come from? And that's what it is, high school football, which was more years ago than I want to discuss. So, this will be another 500 unit drop. Now, one thing you need to make sure you check out is that it says August 8th, 2025. I believe that's the same time frame of the drop of the last Ashlars we bought. I bought an Ashlar in the last drop just because I wanted to buy one. I'll be honest with y'all. You know, I might be at my 5 max, so I'm not buying any more Ashlars. I do have to put together a giveaway. I'm still got to figure out how to do it to make sure it checks people. But there's a way of y'all making sure that y'all like my X and y'all like my Discord and my other YouTube page and do all these little goofy things, and that will make y'all eligible for an Ashlar giveaway. And Helium Deploy worked with me and said that they would do an Ashlar giveaway for my 30,000 subscribers as long as they, you know, follow my thing, and I can pick it and then send it to them. There is a limit on what countries you can be from. That is per them. I have nothing to do with that, but it is going to be, you know, I call it main countries, but some of the bigger countries that doesn't cost a exorbitant amount of money to ship to. So we'll get, when I get the exact list from them, I will touch base with y'all on that. So I got to get that work and figure out what kind of program. If any of y'all have been in streaming or anything like that, do y'all know what kind of program that is? I've seen, you know, the YouTubers in the past that, you know, I follow, like Vosk and, you know, Tyler and a bunch of these other guys that had this certain page you went to and you had to do these certain steps to be able to get tickets or whatever it is. I want to find something basically like that that's not too expensive, but yeah. So yeah, listen, helium deploy. I'm reading Milkman. I keep saying Milkmax because that X on the end. Milkman X. But Milkman says kind of sucks the June and new July batch both ship in August. I'll be honest with you. I told some of y'all that who followed my videos. But Helium Deploy in the chat that we have, when they talk to me about, you know, what new drops they got coming and stuff like that, you know, they basically said the order that we put in a couple of weeks ago would not be early like the first order. The first order originally said we weren't going to get that till end of July, I think it was, and that ended up being almost a month early. They told me straight up they have to wait for this bunch to come in, that anybody who does order in that second bunch or after will not get it early. It will be when it's originally promised, which is August. And they told me same thing for my contest. There was no rush for me to do the contest right now, which was again last month, because those people would not get that order or that winning order until everybody got their shipment from these orders. So I wouldn't expect it early. If it says August 8th, again, that is still what, less than a month away, 4 weeks. Hey, with way things are going in crypto when you buy anything else, it's about the same thing. Halving is coming up in August too. I know mentioning this will upset you, Grumpy. Sorry. Is that Entropy's halving? Listen, I understand these projects are going to have halvings. It doesn't mean we like it. And I try to tell y'all, we can like a project and still not be happy with some of the things they do. Or we can be like Silencio and Demo and just not like the projects right now, period. But anyway, I just think a year is early. When you're trying to build support for projects, a year is too early. You know, every project has cheerleaders. We know that. We have projects that you can go in there and spit facts. And you start the cheerleaders like, we don't care. This is the greatest project ever. This is the greatest project since D-Pin's been invented. Yeah, whatever. And you have that right now going on in like GeoNet. When people go in and spit facts with GeoNet, hey, right now it's a 350-day ROI on a device. It don't matter. This is the greatest project ever. But it's still the facts. When people now are a little more hesitant and you spit, not me, I've kind of, GeoNet, I've kind of stayed calm and stayed idle, just kind of lurked and watched in their Discord. But you have people in there spitting those facts that, hey, stations have to be slowing down in sales because who's buying a $690, $700 GeoNet station making $2 a day? You're not seeing this huge surge in price. Yes, the price went up. I might be lying because I haven't looked at it in the last 2 or 3 days since my Monday video. But, you know, it is what it is. But I still think it was too early for a yearly. Price is going up 1 cent in a week. It was at 16.5. It's at 17.8 now. And that's when you compare it to everything going on in crypto. We're going to talk about Bitcoin in just in 1 second. But people made fun of my lines and my lines look good. So, you know, Wingbits, I'm sure they're having a yearly halving. I disagree with it, but hey, but right now, you know, but maybe Is it really a year? When you think, right, the one good thing about Wingbits is, not one good thing, but one of the best things for us with Wingbits is, everybody wants to rush mainnet. When's mainnet? When's TGE? When's mainnet? On Wingbits, it doesn't matter. Wingbits said this earlier, and it was actually a very good response. Why are we rushing mainnet and TGE? Because right now we're getting a 20% bonus on what we mine or what we collect or we get rewarded with Wingbits, because we're doing this through testnet. Listen, I don't want y'all to go unsubscribe from my channel, but if Wingbits has to delay another 3 or 4 weeks, especially me with 15 stations, if y'all have multiple stations, that shouldn't bother you that much. I mean, I would hope, which I'm sure there are, but I would hope that you're not in that much of a rush to sell when you're making 20% bonuses on what you're mining. Now, y'all know me. I still think if we're going to have this big alt season like people are talking about, that we're going to have it closer. I still think October, November, and I think October's pushing it. October, November. And if you're having that, moving a mainnet, not that I'm saying, listen, Wingbits is not saying anything about this. This is just me talking too much. Maybe it's the medication talking. But if Wingbits gets moved to October when it first gets released, and then goes on that ride up, I'm not gonna say we could have another helium because we're not gonna see that kind of price action, but you know what I'm saying? We could catch that right up, because to me, the worst thing that could happen is you have projects that push out mainnet too early. We can look at Silencio and Soarchain and Nadix and these other ones that rushed out with a horrible, piss poor mainnet TGE and didn't have any good CEXs, if any CEXs, or they're getting kicked off of CEXs like we're watching some of them. And their token prices did nothing but a steady bleed because, hey, they were in such a rush to push out mainnet. And that, I think, was either Axie or one of them from Wingbits said it earlier in their own Discord. The worst, we want to make sure we time this right, because you have one chance to do it right. I know everybody spent a lot of money on devices. I know people spent way more money than I have on devices. Yes. 14 DIY stations was not cheap, despite what people want to say. You still had to pay for the little potato, you had to pay for the pie, you had to pay for the SDR, you had to pay for the antenna, the feed line, network wire, cellular connection. I'm still paying, but I'm not stupid. I'm not paying $400 for WB200, $1,000. So some of y'all are out of the money. I can see that, hey, there's nothing wrong with y'all wanting to go to TGE to start recouping a little bit of that money. I can understand that. But you also want those devices to be good for the long run. I don't think it's the end of the world if that gets pushed back. That's just me. We'll see. ENT price appreciation has been nice. Well, before I jump off the ENT train, let's talk about that. So, as people have been buying these NFTs and everything going on, we can see that it has been a very nice price appreciation, if that's the fancy word you want to use. But we were down here for a while and everybody was complaining about it. We had this nice push up and people had to start selling, push up. And this has actually been a pretty steady show. And I'm going to tell you what I think. I don't know what the exact correlation is. This is when I get kicked out of crypto, but as people use Entropy to buy an NFT, I don't think that's burned right away, but I could be completely wrong. I'm curious to know when the public mint starts happening. I think you mentioned somewhere about Entropy being used. Is that Entropy being burned? Is that Entropy being sold and then used for certain things? I know that they mentioned that. My thing is I'm really hoping by the time the public has to start buying NFTs or buying Entropy, I'd like to start seeing, look, I'm sitting there talking about it and somebody's going to go dump it. Somebody needs their ass kicked. But anyway, so somebody just dumped $3,000 as we were talking about it of Entropy. I hope it's none of y'all. I hope I hope none of y'all saw what the price was on my live and said, "Oh hell, we gotta go sell." Somebody find this dude's address. I'm talking about his physical address so we can go pay him a visit. But see, this is the greediness I talk about. Like, you know what kind of project this is in. Now, the first thing people are going to start saying is, first thing people are going to start saying is this person getting booted out the project? Just like Bob said, he bought a bag based on my advice. You have people who just buy and just buy and just buy and just buy at certain price levels. And when it gets to a certain price level, they sell. And you could see a gigantic sell like this. And this could be somebody who's not mining. Or this the old thing of my account got hacked. And let me tell you, these guys know enough about crypto to figure out if your account got hacked or not. This is one reason why I do separate Phantom wallets, separate 12 words. That yes, it's way pain in the butt. But if, as Mr. Glenn can tell you, if somebody steals your 12 words for your account, every single, even though you have 7 different accounts on Phantom, everything in that 12 words, these idiots, these idiots that steal everything from you, they know to keep creating accounts to see what's in new accounts and just keep draining them out. So what I did, learned from Mr. Glenn's mistake, is my Wingbits has its own Phantom with its own 12-word password with a Wingbits account, and maybe 1 or 2 other crypto projects underneath that one. Then I got another Phantom account with different 12 words with 2 or 3 different projects on that one. And then another Phantom account. And look, I got a spreadsheet to save all that. That's printed up and locked away. Because God forbid if I ever have to recover all that, it's going to be pain in the butt to redo all those 12 words. I get it. But you never know. You never know about getting scammed, things getting, stolen. It's not worth it. DeVazzolino, what's happening, man? My TGE party with the dancing girls, I'm telling you right now, I'm glad it's not this week, because I have a lot of y'all let down because there ain't no dancing going on. I didn't even dance at my own wedding. So I can tell you, I won't be dancing. And I'm in way too much pain. This is hurting as it is just sitting in this chair. So, DeVazzolino, what's happening, man? Oh, bought a bag. Just waiting for your TGE party. You have a channel retro mic tech. So I'm curious. Like I'm very curious to find out who this is. And you look at the wallet. I'm sure some of the sleuths can go figure out. And look, but I've told y'all before, and I've even did a video. Entropy is a project, probably one of the only projects that I use, like Dexcrina or Bird Eye, really to look at as far as buying Jupiter and stuff like that. But you can set up sales that right now, you know this project was at 9,200, and you can sit there and set up that, hey, if this thing goes back to 8,900, automatically buy. And I'm wondering if that's what you see these right here, whoever this might be. This person set up, 8,900, 8,936 to automatic. And that's how I accumulated a lot of mine in the beginning was, a couple of months ago, was when it went to a certain level. Now, well, I will tell y'all this. Y'all want to learn from Grumpy's mistakes? Here's the mistake I made. A lot of y'all know that one of my wallets fell under the limit for Jeter deleter level, whatever it is. It was a 0.09 something instead of the 0.1 you're supposed to have, or the 1 you're supposed to have. Because what happened was I was using the same wallet on one of my devices that I was also buying dips and buying dips. So I knew I bought at some very good prices. So I wanted to sell some of that as profit to get one of my Ashlars. Well, I sold a little bit too much. Apparently, I didn't have this great big profit like I thought I did. And what I did is I sold it, a week before the Ashlar came in. I would sell it in $10 or $15 chunks. $10 because I didn't want to crash the price. $10, $15 chunks. Apparently, I must have went over about $20 into what I actually mined. So take Grumpy's advice. If you want to do what Bob talked about and what I did, is create another Phantom account. It's very easy. You press the plus sign, new Phantom account, and call it Entropy Trade. And then you go onto, I think it's Jupiter or whatever. I haven't did it in a while, but I did a video on it a while back. But you can go and set a limit buy, a limit order. And you can put, like right now, it's back down to 89.17 because you got people selling it again. But you can go and set the set, say like 8,500, knowing that it might not go back to 8,500 for a good while. That's the chance you take. You know, if you said 8,500, that was way back July 8th. But if it triggers 8,500, it's going to trigger that buy for you. Then it goes back up to 9. Again, like non-financial advice, but I see it happening. You know, but when you look, this is one of the biggest the biggest sells we've had with this project in some time. When you look at it, these were close. That's disgusting. It's disgusting that there's somebody who wants to be in this project. If they're in the project, again, I'll say it again. I'm going to sit there and talk bad about them, but if they're in the project, there's been more buys than sells. Let me drag this over for y'all so y'all can see it. Let me move my fat head to the other side. You've had 231 buys, 219 sells. The buy volume, the sell volume. Well, now, you know, you have the sell volume higher now because of this a-hole. Look, this project has been out now for, we're about to make a 1-year anniversary on this project. I guess that's, you know, the, yeah, Diva Azalino said definitely should use a separate trading wallet. I learned my lesson. And ENT is on Jupe, or you can use Bird Eye. So maybe I need to do another video for y'all on, because I know somebody requested a while back. I need to do a separate video for y'all on how to trade and set limit orders like that before. Oh, I shaved bad. Oh, anyway. Entropy. Listen, I know it's not for everybody. I got people in my own Discord that want to try to warn people about entropy. I like my pink cup. My wife makes me drink in pink cup. But trust me, the detectives are going to figure out who this was that just sold. And I'm sure they'll be announced on the Discord. You know, if it's not already while we're sitting here making this. You know, you never know. So it's a very active Discord. If y'all not in my Discord, for those who might just saw my Twitter X, you know, saying that the live is going on, y'all join my Discord. In the description below is a link to the Discord. If it still works, it should still work. Nobody's told me lately that it hasn't. If you do join the Discord, make sure that you verify, because I find that when I let verifications go longer than 3 or 4 hours, where people get in, they accept the rules, but then they don't verify. I usually wait a day or two before I boot them out. When I forget to do that, and those people sitting there unverified, is when people start getting the scam bots about, you know, this is Grumpy with a misspelled word. Do you want trading advice? No, Grumpy's poor. He don't give out trading advice. So, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't see anything yet in the Discord yet. Nobody's really talking about the big dump. I don't know. What else we can talk about? For those who saw me discussing Combinder, I understand some of y'all's hesitation, because let's see if I can sign in. Look, does DPIN need another smart plug, deep pin project. I don't know. You know, I guess they're trying to keep up with the amount of weather station projects we got, but hell, why not? So I'm looking at right now, Combinder has a thing that when you log into Combinder, it pops up asking if you want to buy Shelly plugs. So any of y'all who want it, I just ordered 2 more Shelly plugs to get 3 because they have the bonus. You can actually, do I want to participate in a raffle for Peak? 10 times. I'm going to have to look into this. But anyway, of course, I see this, and I've already just ordered 2 more because you know with Combinder, you can when you hook up 3 of the plugs, you get a bonus. I have not looked at this, to be honest with y'all, since I've just been kind of letting it run. You see, mine's just steadily running. The plugs were like $22 on Amazon each. I ordered 1 to find out what it's about. My other plugs are supposed to be here Saturday. So Saturday or Sunday. And I am going to do a full video on Combinder when I've been waiting for this other plug to come in. I didn't order it, you know, with everything going on, and I just ordered it 2 days ago. But my plan is to order that to do a video when I get that plug in to show y'all how easy it is to set this up. Here are the Quest. So I got bonuses, data volume, device pool, wallet. So I got 400 in Quest. Again, I haven't really looked at this, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't. I'm trying to find out where the Quest is. So somewhere it talked about if you hook up 3 devices, here's the device pool. So connect my 3rd device, I get another. So yeah, on your 3rd device, you get another 250 bond. You know, one reason why I am taking a chance on this is because it's very simple to set up. The plugs are $22 a piece, at least American on the American side. And it's also on Peak. And y'all know I hold a very large bag of Peak. I've been buying it and DCAing in it. I'm almost trapped into Peak at this point because I have been buying it since it got released. And we know Peak was up here at one point, and now it's down here. So if you want to get in Peak, not financial advice, I own the token, letting everybody know before I get in trouble and somebody screams at me. But at the price it's at right now, you know, it's not that bad of a chance. It's 7 cents. It's get my fat heads in the way. Get it moved over here for y'all. And that's where Peak is now. So, you know, I was buying it at I didn't realize Peak's been out this long. December. But I was buying it in the 30 and 40 cent range. I didn't go into the 50s. 30 and 40 cent range. And then when it came back down, I was buying it 30, 20, all the way down. 10 cents, I bought a lot of it. A good chunk of it, around 10 cents. And I had been buying it every DCA when I go into my paycheck. Y'all know at one time I was doing the Solana and AVAX and Cardano and Atom, a little bit of Bitcoin and stuff like that. Now I told y'all I'm strictly DCing at this point into Peak and Bitcoin, and that's it for right now. You'll ask me next month in a live, I might tell y'all something different, just because of how I feel right now with deep pin, and I swear it's not just because you know, Tech Hustler was smashing everything. I haven't kept up with that. Has he smashed anything else lately? He said he had a big reveal of a big smash coming up, and that's when I went into surgery. I don't know where that left off. So y'all tell me if that left off somewhere else. But anyway, so here comes Peak. Peak came back up. I thought I was going to look great. And it's back down here. Now I'm going to tell y'all, you see this dip right here at 6 cents? I gobbled some up. end of June. And this is where we are right now. Last Friday I got paid, and I bought a decent chunk. And look, I'm buying at this point just to get my average cost down because of how much I bought at that 40 cent range. So I'm really buying this now to get low. Peak is supposed to be the blockchain of DPIN. A lot of projects, it took so long for Peak to come out. A lot of projects like Wingbits and some of these other ones that were supposed to be on Peak. I remember, like, I think it was Silencio was supposed to be on Peak, and there were some other ones. Soarchain was supposed to be on Atom. I don't know. Y'all tell me. But a lot of them couldn't wait long enough. Peak got delayed. And now you got Silencio, and that's about it. We all know what's going on with Silencio. I'm in the process of working on that video. I'm going to probably release that tomorrow morning to show y'all how horrible my last month was. But Peak was supposed to be the DPIN. Hey, I'm a DPIN channel. I feel like I just kind of owed to buy some more Peak. And look, if it goes down here to this, as it goes down some more, you can see me buy a little bit more. As it goes up, you can see me slow down and probably not buy anymore, just because I'm buying at this point to get my cost lower. So if you see it come down to 5 and 4 cents, you know I'm buying. If it goes up to 10, 12 cents, I'm not buying no more. I'm strictly going to be in Bitcoin at that point. But saying all that, Combinder is going to be on the Peak network. Now, this is a very, 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 listen to me again, very early project. It doesn't even have a Discord yet. All it has is Telegram. It has an X. X seems to be getting more and more active. This is a project I learned about from passive crypto mining. I shared that video with y'all. Who knows what happens? This is definitely going to be one of those. We're getting in very, very early, hoping for the best. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. So let me see if I catch up on you. Do you want to be able to mine? Sorry. There's this nut 2.5 earlier today. Headquarters sees all. Best trading advice, don't listen to anyone. That's true. That's true. But we all know what happens is if I tell everybody to go buy Peak right now, and then Peak goes up and then I sell a whole bunch of it and do well, people are going to say, Grumpy told people to buy Peak just so the price goes up so he can sell. So, I've learned enough from watching BitBoy in the beginning of his career, how he got blamed for everything. Now, all the coke and stuff he did towards the end, the meth and everything else, all the crazy, goofy stuff he did at the end, that's all on him. But I've learned that normally I have the stupid scrolling thing that says, I own these tokens and I'm going to sell them when I feel like selling them and all that stuff like that. And y'all should know, any of y'all who have followed my channel for longer than a day or two knows this scrolling thing, but I just feel, because that's how I am, that I talk about projects that I'm in. I got people text me all the time or email me all the time. Hey, are you going to do any videos on this or do any videos on this project? I'm not really in them. So I feel like, even like Helium Deploy wanted me to do a video on something that I'm not even in at all. They've backed me in my channel. I felt kind of bad, but I'm like, I just feel bad coming to y'all saying, y'all go get into XYZ project. I don't know why, but just go get into XYZ project. And that's just me. So I'm trying to tell y'all, I own a lot of these tokens. I have not sold anything other than a little entropy I told y'all about and a little bit of grass last hunting season. The only stuff I'm really selling and making a very good profit on is EarnApp. And I hope all y'all are in EarnApp after everything I've told y'all about EarnApp. And best part is it's not even technically crypto related, so you don't have to worry about the token going down. But, my EarnApp is doing very, very well. I hadn't even looked at it. I forget where it was at the Monday video. But, I'm at, let's see. I don't know. I don't remember what I was even at the Monday video. I'm at $128 right now. What was that at the other day? Was that at like $105, $110 on Monday, if I'm not mistaken? So EarnApp has been busting butt. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to Baltimore at the end of the month. If I'm feeling better, it's a work conference I'm already signed up for. I got the plane tickets for and everything. I really can't say no. But my plan is to keep busting my earn app butt, keep going, and then I'm gonna take it out again for that trip. Because you gotta remember, for those who followed me, end of June, I took that trip to New York. I took $200 out of earn app. I was back down to zero. So the $128 that you see right now, I made that in like 20 days. Better than probably any crypto project I'm in right now. And you can sell and not get in trouble. It can go to your PayPal or your Amazon. So I believe I have an app. I believe I have a code for y'all that want to get in there, and it should help y'all out to get started below. If not, at some point I'll add it. It doesn't look like it. It's in my other videos if y'all want to get into that. But you know, we're doing good with earn app. So last but not least, because I'm starting to get tired. Oh, I'm not getting tired. Things are starting to hurt. Wingbits. I haven't really done any videos on Wingbits, and I keep telling those guys, y'all got to give me some inside information. Like, I haven't been doing any videos on y'all. I feel like I feel bad, but everything they're working on is the background, and we know they're working on stuff in the background because eventually you see the change logs. And what I've been doing for those who are in my Discord in the Wingbits section, not only is, if anything, announcements is automatically moving over to my Discord in the Wingbits section, but even anything that Mike or any other guys puts up in the change log for updates and stuff like that, I'm making sure that I put that into our Discord so that y'all can see it and y'all can keep up with it. Now, they got this new thing for choose roles, limited to BYOD or HiFix roles. If you run both, choose both roles. So when I go here, I chose BYOD because I have a BYOD station, and I chose HiFix because I do have a HiFix station. For those who unfortunately are having the issue with the range drop, I know there's people in my Discord that have seen that. People comment on my YouTube. I'm sorry. It sucks. I don't know what else to tell you, but it sucks. Supposedly it's a small, very small amount, about 2%, but it's still 80 out of 3,600. So while it's a small percentage, 80 is still a decent number. But I have faith, people want to blame Wingbits again. I hate to be the cheerleader that I just made fun of earlier in this video, but this is one reason why Wingbits has stayed out of the hardware game. This is strictly on HiFix. And people want to blame Wingbits for this, but this is strictly on HiFix. HiFix is working on it. There's been two different issues. One was moisture ingress. I've talked to y'all about that in the video already. And, over tighten antenna connector, carrying device but antenna. I did that. And I broke my little adapter. I got an adapter here somewhere. But, yeah. Listen, my Wingbit station is in South Louisiana. South Louisiana. It is literally 5-10 feet from the Gulf of Mexico, and some of the harshest stuff. I know people down there with campers. It'll keep their campers down there during fishing season, during summer, and at the end, it is full of salt and corrosion. So we're going to test out this Wingbits HiFix station, at least mine. So far, knock on wood, so far, we have not had any issues with my HiFix station. I'm trying to pull up maps for y'all. So for those who aren't unaware of where this is. Let's go. So this is Grand Isle right here, which is again the south part of the United States, Louisiana, South Louisiana. And as you can see, and despite this is just two different maps put together, but it is blue. And my buddy's camp is, I'm not going to zoom directly in on it because I don't trust people, but let's just say it's in this certain area right here. I'm not going to zoom up on his, but basically it's all the same thing. As you can see, despite which one of these might be his camp, it is literally about 10 feet to this berm right here. Then all beach, depending on how high the water is, and that's it. So you're getting salt spray and bad thunderstorms because there's nothing to block the wind when these bad thunderstorms come ashore. He was getting hit today with bad thunderstorms. So I have actually a WB200 here. And if you remember last year, I had a DIY station. The DIY station 10 feet off the ground, 10 feet off the ground. But because there's nothing blocking it in this direction, it was high enough to get over that berm. I was getting 300, 400 miles out of it plus with no problems. It was my best station, better than the station I have on my friend's 400-foot tower. So the DIY station came down while my buddy was moving. He moved to this side of the island somewhere. Luckily for me, and I didn't realize this, I put my DIY station here, and then I realized that for Wingbits, this is 2 separate owner hexes, hex res with these 6s. So he got me hooked up with a buddy, and I was able to put my WB200 now on this one and be on 2 separate hexes. And you can't spoof nothing because of the GPS. So the only problem with this one is where this is now, there is one freaking tree, one tree that is somewhat kind of blocking this. So I don't get the greatest signal now. But again, what the meaning of all that is I am right on the Gulf, and I wonder if I can. This is going towards the island. My buddy's fishing camp is here, and as you can see behind it, there is nothing here but plain ocean, Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, whatever you want to call it this week. So that's that. So my point is, we're going to see what all that is. We're going to see how well that holds up with thunderstorms, with everything else going on, and we'll hopefully. I mean, mine now has been up there for, I think, was it 2 months? I did a video said I was putting that out there. And knock on wood, I haven't had any water ingress, no problems. My range is not going down. It is still doing very, 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 very well. So, I want to see if I can see real quick. So remember, with the Wingbits website, for those haven't gone to it in a while, you do have to click on the section for let's turn the aircraft off. That is what Grumpy's doing so far. So now I need to find me a station here. Oh, it's D Vaselino's back. We can sit there and start talking about chug water again. I'm telling you, I reached out to 5 or 6 different ham people in Chugwater. I didn't get a single response back from them. I don't know if they thought I was goofy. I told them who I was. I told them I was a ham. I even gave them my ham license, and they can look me up. I didn't get a F you, screw you, you're a scammer. I didn't get nothing back from them at all. I don't know what else. Without driving 20-something hours and start knocking on people's doors in Chugwater, I just don't think the Chugwater dream is going to come alive. But, this is my DIY station. Kind of see what I'm getting out of it. Hex ranking 1. The problem is owning 15 stations. I guess there's not that many people that have this issue, but once you put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Once you get past 9, you can't scroll this no more. You're stuck. So you have to go to your stations and then click on your stations to see kind of what you're doing. And this is what my WB200 is doing, which I'm not in the mood to sit there and count all these hexes and stuff like that. My buddy's tower This is the one I got 150, 160 hexes at one time. I'm not going to count these either, but it looks like I got a good chunk. Florida, Georgia, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Poplar Bluff, which was where I was supposed to put that other station at. So it's doing pretty good. Still doing pretty good. So one big announcement from Wingbits, what we were supposed to talk about earlier. And the thing about it is I didn't even see this on their announcement page, but Wingbits came out with a pretty big announcement earlier. And it was on their X. Wingbits is teaming up with Decharge and GeoNet to power the future of autonomous drones. Now, Decharge is a project that's been out with for a little while. I don't know too much about it. I know some of y'all are in it because y'all have asked me about it. It's something I probably need to go do a little research on to figure out, know what it's about. But first global community powered EV charging network. There you go. Apparently they're getting into drones also, because that's what this is. So this is supposed to be a very big partnership. Again, I don't know that much about it, but I don't care if I don't know much about it. Anytime our DPIN projects can start collaborating, y'all know GeoNet and Wingbits was already together. They decided to put, kind of get together and do this high fix station together. But now you actually have them working on a project together. This isn't just them, hey, let's all get together and make a device that your project and our project will work on. This is them actually coming together with a goal, however else you want to say it. I took my 3 BYOD devices offline and replaced with Havix. Now I don't get beta. Put the BYOD stations back up somewhere else. That's why I tell everybody, don't delete your BYOD stations. People ask me, the question though, for those who can't see or didn't see it, Kronzer says he took his 3 BYOD stations offline and replaced with Hifix. Now I don't get beta. I would check into that, because I distinctly remember there being an announcement, because this was happening so much. They want you to use the Hifix stations. The Hifix stations are better. I've proven that they're better if y'all seen my videos on them, especially when you put a 5.5, the antenna that I suggest to people in the links. You put that 5.5 antenna on there, on those WB200s, and they boom. They're badass. And I know that the reason they did that is because that's what their customers wanted, was this one certain type of station that was verified a certain way, that everything the Hifix station can do. And I remember them saying that as long as, if you took 3 stations offline and you put 3 WB200s or the MGW310s online, you would still get that bonus. So you need to check into that, because I can tell you, I distinctly remember that. Maybe bring it up in my Discord or Wingbits' Discord. I know some of the Wingbits guys are in my Discord sometimes. Eventually one day I have to sit down and do the AMA that Robin promised me that he would. That is strictly on me. He has asked me several times. He was willing to do AMA with my channel. Maybe I need to get with some of y'all and y'all can submit questions and stuff, but it's just hard because y'all see the setup I have, and I want to do that project right. I don't want it to look like some kind of half-ass show. But another thing is, with him being on the other side of the world, his 2 o'clock is my midnight, I think, or something like that. And it's going to be hard to figure out a time frame. But anyway, that's one thing I think, Kronzer, you need to find out about, is because I distinctly remember them saying, because they wanted people to get off DIY and possibly get onto the Hifix stations and get off those BYOD devices, that you wouldn't lose your bonuses. So that's something we need to look into. I'm gonna tell you, the Wingbits is getting big, and I think it's awesome, because one thing, and I was talking to somebody earlier about this announcement, is while I don't know exactly what they're going to be coming up with doing with Decharge and GeoNet all together, anything that's drawing attention to this Wingbits project is going to help us when we sit there worry about what's the token price going to be. Well, when you look at other projects on coin market cap that have a 10 billion market cap, you have some that are way low with 3 or 4 zeros in front of it. And you got some that's up to 50, 60, 75 cents, almost $1. You have to figure that's what your range of what our token's going to be. We have to get people who are interested in investing into this token. That's what helped Helium so much. We watch some of these other deep in projects where if it's just a project putting in some liquidity every now and then and burning, yeah, it helps a little bit. But unless we get investors who are wanting to buy this token, we're not going to see that price appreciation like we want to see. Look, I got over 1 million Wingbits tokens already. I want to see some price appreciation. I keep telling myself, and I don't even want to throw a price out because everybody keeps asking me all the time what I think about a price. I keep telling myself low just so I'm not disappointed. But that's one reason why they're making sure you wait till a good mainnet. But my point is, the more of these collaborations that they can do with people, the more it's going to make investors put eyes on this token that say, we need to get on this token early because we hoping it's worth this one day. You know, again, I got into Helium back in 2020. Helium was only worth 75 cents to $1. We were making 16 to 20 Helium a day. Eventually, Helium goes to $40 each. That's how we ROI'd $5,000 in 17 days. Do I see that kind of price appreciation happen again in anything? No, I don't. But I keep saying burns don't mean nothing. I say this with all these other projects that, you know, Silencio and all these other ones are like, we burn this much, we burn this much. But if you don't have people buying and putting liquidity into that token, if you're not signing contracts with customers and taking some of it, I'm not expecting you to put all of it in there because y'all have to pay your own bills and run a business. But if you're not taking some of that and reinvesting it in liquidity into that token and then burns don't mean nothing. So we have to hope that we can get more things like this, more announcements like this to get Wingbits and GeoNet, and in this case, Decharge, into the eyes of more investors that say we need to jump on that token and get that token. I mean, y'all tell me what y'all think. You know, unless y'all know of another way, to me, that's the only way any of these, I don't care if it's Wingbits, Decharge, GeoNet, Silencio, Demo. Maybe that's why the Demo has been a slow bleed down, because they're not, this whole time when we thought they were selling our information, they ain't been selling nothing. And that's why they haven't been getting any money to put liquidity into these tokens. You know, that's how I look at it. So, you know, what's exactly going to happen with this? I don't know. You know, I kind of try to talk to a couple of people, just asking them for their advice. Of course, like I said, the project's not really been telling me too much what's going on. They're doing their own thing right now. You know, what I asked what somebody else who I know that he knows a little bit about drones and some of this other stuff. You know, we go back with a project I never mentioned and talk about. We don't want my blood pressure going up, but he knew a lot about stuff back then. But basically, he's telling me commercial drones are using 1090. Because my question was, is Wingbits going to be involved in drones if we are measuring 1090 or ADS-B or whatever you call it? And he's telling me, yes, those commercial drones and unmanned vehicles are using 1090. So they're using some form of ADS-B. It doesn't matter if it's drone, Cessna, or ground vehicle, which he read somewhere else that these ground vehicles or some of these delivery trackers are going to need more stuff to kind of measure. And you're going to need precision measuring, if that's the word to use, you know, precision measuring to make sure that, like, there's a curb here, a person here, like it can't be off more than a centimeter to make sure, you know, where, you know, exactly where that needs to be at. So, you know, my buddy says that you have to watch out for that kind of stuff. and he likes the way all that looks, and the future of it. Like I said, me and this guy, we were both in the previous project together that we don't mention, but he knows the stuff about these things. I don't, to be honest with you. You know, I know some drone stuff. I've always said that we knew that there was a market for those kind of things. That's why we got so deep into the previous project that we don't talk about anymore, because we knew I had been to training on drone stuff, drone detection more than anything. And we knew that the more BVLOS, which is beyond visual line of sight, the more those applications go out, get accepted, and they get permits for, the more you're going to have a market for stuff like this, for projects, companies, businesses that are going to offer a service that can do detection, not for the company that's doing the BVLOS, but for the other company that's doing the BVLOS, to make sure it doesn't run into something else that's doing BVLOS, if that makes sense. We just went and sent out our applications at my work to whatever company handles it to get our BVLOS licenses for drones. So a little just inside scoop on that. That's kind of how I know a little bit about BVLOS, because we're involved in that work. So I know what it's gonna take. I think this is a big announcement. I think, again, this is gonna be big. VCharge is creating the energy internet. Decentralized EV charging networks already live in India, scaling it to Southeast Asia, the US, and the Europe. Charge designed for machine-to-machine transactions. Perfect world. Make no decision. Real-time flight and drone tracking. Y'all go read about this. This, again, is on the Wingbits Discord. But, hey, we've had people who have said over and over that how great can Wingbits be if all we're doing is just the same thing as what some of these other companies are doing that are doing this for free. And then we'll argue also, I don't want to get that deep into it, but we'll also argue that they're not doing it for free. They're selling it to commercial, giving it to people like us for free, but commercial. But all they're doing is just basic, this is where the plane is, and that's it. Wingbits kept saying, be patient. We got more coming. We got more coming. We got more coming. Here we go. So I guess I need to go follow them right now to make sure I start keeping up to date on what the hell D-Charge is doing. Listen, the previous project that I don't talk about anymore, we know 90% of their ideas were stolen from somewhere else. We saw pictures of what they claimed that they were going to do, where you had certain charging stations in strategic parts of certain cities and stuff like that on top of rooftops that drones can come down and land on in between getting deliveries or sending deliveries and stuff like that. We know there's a market for this. And we know there's a market for this kind of tracking. I'm hyped up about this. Y'all can, I don't know how y'all feel about it or anything like that, but, not the DJI drones. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I know several people that had DJI drones, and the first thing they did on it was change frequencies and put custom firmware on them. For fact. Fact. Like I literally played with one. But 619, I don't think, unless you own a building, I have not played with or seen any of the delivery type stuff, but we know Amazon and some of these other places, food deliveries. If I could even find a website right here on the Mississippi River, these people, we call them shiplets, but because I don't know what other term to use, but you have people who come from other countries down Mississippi River, to all these grain elevators and different delivery things, stuff like that. And they want stuff from America brought to them. And they get deliveries. Before, you would have to get a boat or something that they would pay for a service if they wanted iPhones, because iPhones are cheaper here. iPhones and donuts. I'm not joking. Donuts, pastries. We're in Louisiana, king cakes. And a boat service would pay for bringing it from the dock of the Mississippi River to their big ship in the middle of the river because they couldn't get off legally. Well, what somebody did, this was brought up. This is one of the lies, we call it defly-in, but it is a legit project where you have companies now that will say, we can fit a certain payload size You tell us where to land the drone at. The drone gets filled up with donuts, pastries, king cakes, beignets, whatever. If you don't know what beignet is, God bless you. And that's why I can never lose weight. iPhones is one of the number one things. Not, despite what some of y'all are going to think, not Androids. The iPhone's still the number one smartphone in the world. And they get them delivered to the plane. I mean, to the ship in the middle. You have those kind of delivery services. But those drones still have to go somewhere to charge. Now, the drones that I've always messed with, and I'm talking about these big boys. If y'all saw my video of Mardi Gras, y'all saw we did it. I was helping out down there with Homeland Security, and they're shooting on Bourbon Street, and them big drones came in with them spotlights, stayed way up, and just spotlight the whole thing. Super Bowl, I dealt with the drones. If y'all saw my videos on that, but those batteries were this big. It had to be pulled out, charged, and replaced. You weren't landing that kind of drone anywhere to do on a plate for charging. I know, so that's where my limit is, and I don't know. Again, if this all helps this project out, I'm all for it. All for it. So Tior says, I'm in SkyTrade. Sounds crazy, but you can charge delivery drones for passing your hex. They're teaming up with Encore. Y'all see what I'm talking about? Y'all see where D-Fly was making up so much stuff because they were just stealing everybody else's ideas. And this is one reason why, because I brought this up to somebody else, is that somebody's going to bring up D-Fly with all this stuff. But this is what I love it. I love it because you know what it does? It spits in the face of them. Because what's the one thing that D-Fly was telling her before they tucked tail and ran off with the last of everybody's thousands of dollars? What's the one thing they kept saying? Wingbits will never make it. Wingbits will never make it. Wingbits can't even send out stuff. We got free geosigners from. I got a box of geosigners somewhere right here. I just saw it the other day. I was trying to clean up in here. Geosigners free on their dime. Sent it out. Received, set up, got them in our hand. WB200s, MGW310s, sent out. We got stuff we're testing out right now that I'm not allowed to talk about or I'll get blown up. Actually has a button on his desk to put a missile on Grumpy's house if he speaks of anything of it. But this project is not just saying, hey, we sent out some MGW310s and WB200s and we done now. We're just going to sit back and just scan the skies or mine the skies or whatever the hell it is. They're not. And that's why I'm so excited that even though you see people complaining about, I can't believe we're not going to mainnet yet, or they're still working. They're still behind the scenes. They're still expanding their business. Hiring more people. We saw them looking for people a while back. You know, I put in a chat for an issue I'm having with a wallet. And even though they said they were closed within a few hours, it was answered. And they worked with me on a wallet issue. Where if you put a ticket in, the ticket got buried on Discord. There's no telling how long it would have took for somebody to come get to me. So 619 says, I work for Amazon, about to leave for work within a few. We ship stuff same day, sometimes within 2 hours. Are y'all using drones though? Is that what you're mentioning? Is that are y'all using drones? You know, there is an Amazon place, Amazon warehouse within an hour of my house. So there's many times I can't stand it. I guess as long as it's in stock in Baton Rouge, there's times where I'll order stuff like on the night, like tonight, and it will be here tomorrow. Amazon has spoiled us. Completely spoiled us. I would put a drone charger up. Don't really want a car charger in the yard. Yeah, I'm not putting a car charger up. My wife test drove when we were trying to buy a car a couple of months back. My buddy owns the Chevy dealership. He's the actual owner. And he was giving me a stupid deal because there's so many federal kickbacks on owning an electric car right now. And basically, you could get this electric car with the federal kickbacks for like 0.9% interest, which these days, getting anything under like 2 is like stupidly crazy. And then, even though sticker price was like almost 6 digits, which was way out of our ballpark we were looking for. By the time the federal money kicked in, it was going to be like literally half the sticker price, which is still a little bit more than we were trying to, because, you know, we got my son's vehicle and my daughter's vehicle we're paying for too. But by the time we drove it home from the dealership in the next town over to here, half the battery was gone. There was just no, and then when you had to sit there and charge it, like we just drove my wife's new vehicle, we got our Kia. The gas mileage on that was 30 plus miles per gallon. That's just a regular vehicle. I had to fill up like once, maybe twice, going drive up to Washington, D.C. or Philadelphia. You realize how many times we would have to stop for that electric vehicle? It just, I still say EV charging is just not there yet. You go to these rest areas, you go to like these gas stations, you see these people just sitting around waiting while their vehicles charge out of state plates. I'm like, look, I understand it's the future. There's no denying that that's the future, but no car chargers yet. But even like a house where I'm at, you're not putting and even though they're making deliveries right here to Mississippi River, which if I took my camera outside right now, you could literally see the levee of the Mississippi River from my house. We ride 4-wheels back there all the time on the Mississippi River. I'm not putting the drone thing that's going to come land and GPS is going to know it's on top of my house. No way. No way. But I 100% support the project to put that thing somewhere else. No, it wasn't the Hummer. It was one of the Chevy SUVs that it was one of the SUVs. I don't know what they have. Terrains or something like that. I don't know which one it was. Takes 3 drive through. Takes about 2 minutes to fill up. Dallas, it is real. Tior says they're testing drone delivery heavily near Dallas. It's real. Yo, I know I've seen the videos, and I thought I would see something like in maybe New York or Philadelphia, Washington D.C., some of these bigger areas, and I didn't. But I've seen videos of them, but I've even heard the stories of people getting lunch and dinner delivered by drone. I don't know if people are just saying that, if y'all know, you know, and from what I understand, talking to my buddy about the drone stuff, is there's a lot more of that in other countries. The U.S. just hasn't been as open to it as what some of these other countries have been. So that's another thing. U.S. is a little slow in the drone adoption, but some other countries are really getting into unmanned vehicles like taxis and such, and autonomous drone use for medical supply delivery. So, and again, this guy who's, I don't even think he's actually from the U.S. But, and in one of the comments on the X, I saw some about all 3 projects could even go together and provide an end-to-end solution potentially. Like, I'm curious to know what that is. I'm reading that on the X. So I think this collaboration with these 3 projects is just gonna be the beginning of more things. You have a company that's more open to it, being Wingbits, and it just makes the potential for this project even bigger. I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm happy to have 15 stations, plus the ones I take care of my family and my friends and stuff, and that they're into it. I wish I could spread my devices out a little bit more. You know, I'd like to be able to put one right in the center of the country. You know, I do go back to Missouri in November for hunting. I'll have to maybe try to find somebody else that's willing to put one up for me, but I'm not ready to pay host fees like some people did with Helium, because we don't know, no idea what these things are going to make. So Drone Dash. Yep. Like I say, when we were in New York, that's the first time I used the food delivery. We don't have that here where I live. I live too far in the country outside New Orleans and Baton Rouge. We don't have, was it Dash, Don Dash, whatever the hell it's called. We don't have that here. So I'm not used to that. So, you know, getting Grubhub is what we use in New York. But we wanted pizza from this certain place that everybody tells about New York. So we sat in the hotel room. I downloaded Grubhub, and within 30 minutes. It was at my hotel. It would have took us longer than 30 minutes with a either walking or subway or taxi or Uber ride to get to this place before we could even order. But that's just, it was a new thing for us. Like somebody, you know, delivering you food that don't work for the actual place. You know, it's one thing when you get delivered with Domino's, because Domino's can vouch for them people. This is Grubhub. It's a little bit different, but you know, when you live in the country like we do, we're not used to that kind of stuff. 619 wants to know when increase hex sizes. You know, I've always joked that Wingbits needs to implement a rule that says anytime somebody says when TGE or when mainnet, they automatically get a penalty of minus 100 wings. And I really think there's going to be, the second rule is going to be whenever 619 asks about when increase hex sizes, he loses 100 wings. So that I understand why he wants to do it. I think you're asking for something that's impossible at this point. You know, especially when you look at something like Dallas. You know, they're on top of each other. I understand that. But the thing about it is the reason they don't want to is because this is kind of a poor, you look at where this hex is and it's barely getting out probably 50 miles in this direction. So you have to have other stations that can pick this up, that can expand out long. You know, some of these are in mama's basement still, or they're not good coverage like this. Like this is the weirdest coverage. So you have to have some type of, and look, Dallas is probably more populated than majority of these places until you get over here. And I know this is where he's at, but again, you have to have it to have overlapping coverage, because you never know if this guy's station is lower to the ground and is getting blocked where he can only get stuff that's further out. You might need another station that can get, you know, I have a buddy that lives on the hills in Glendale. He lives way up here, and there was a helium station right next to him, next hex over, that was getting like stupid helium because it was so high and it was overlooking all the stuff, Hollywood sign and all the stuff like that. Barely, like it was high elevation, and I begged and begged, and I offered him cash, and he's into a lot of ham radio stuff, and he would not put one out. And he was willing to put a Wingbit station out since it was new. And I said, I just thought that it would take over too fast. And sure enough, it did, because I mean, you look at what they're getting in some of these rewards. San Francisco, you know, I got a family that's up here in Bellingham, but I never bother with them because they're getting so slammed that even though there's not that many stations here, when you start looking at what Seattle and stuff, and this is what people need to do. And I know I'm taking up too much y'all's time, but this, here's a perfect example. Even though this guy's taking up one owner hex, he's only covering one hex. So you have to have another station here to be able to overlap coverage. This is my station that I got upset when they changed the tokenomics. And I'm going to tell you, I know I'm going to get kicked out of the Wingbits fan club for this, but I have the ability to put one in somebody's, I think it's a fishing camp, not a hunting camp, a fishing camp up here somewhere in this general area where there's no coverage. But it's going to cost, and it's going to be pain in the butt to get to and to upkeep. And this is why I said while the new tokenomics helped people, it helped me because my total overall rewards since I've been in this project for 2 years now, it really jumped up my tokens. But the problem is now, instead of these hexes right here, where if I would put a station here, all these hexes would be mine. I would have been getting a buttload of wings. I'm not now. I'd be getting a little bit more than what these other people are getting, maybe 100 more, but it's not worth that effort. You know, when I was going to get 700 or 800 a day for being up here, if not 1,000 per day, which to me I should, because I'm covering this area. I'm not, you know, I'm going to get like maybe 300, maybe a little bit more than 300. You know, when you look at some of these stations that are up here by themselves. I mean, look, he's in first place. And what's he getting? 150, 200. This is the bad part of Wingbits. And you know, everybody's got to take the good and the bad. Everybody's got to take the good and the bad. Oh, you don't need 140 plus covering one hex. Yep. Oh, to yours, thank you. I'm not 100% back, man. I'm trying, but especially the longer I sit in this chair, it's about time for me to go. But thoughts on 27106. See, this is another complaint I have right now, and I told this to Mike actually, is in the past, if there was an address I wanted to look at, I could come on here somewhere and I could type the address and it would pull me directly to this address of wherever. So where you have somebody asking, Milkman's asking, hey, I'd like to know about a certain address. You'd be able to type that in there and take a look at it for them. You can't do that no more. What I'm going to tell you is, Milkman, is if you're within this cluster, I just wouldn't suggest it. Now, if you find that these start falling off because people had these reserved and then they change their mind for some reason, there is a time frame that they have to get these things online. And you find that these start falling off and you can get in the outskirts. Also, if you can get higher than what most of these are and provide a better coverage, because one thing about this is out here, there aren't hardly any stations. So if you can outdo the coverage on these, maybe. What I'll tell you is, you know, if any of these are on top of some big hotel or something like that, you know, this one providing some very good coverage. It's weirdly shaped, but you know, none of these are really super duper impressive coverage. So I know 619 is not gonna be happy if you start encroaching on his stuff around the area. I'm going to Vegas in October for my side business coverage. You know, now, you know, if you catch some of this airport stuff, I haven't heard any more about the airport coverage with the Wingbits project. I don't know if that's still a goal of theirs too, but they were talking about trying to do like a mini hexes around here, kind of like what a super hexes around here, kind of like what GeoNet was doing. I don't know if that's still a plan of theirs or not, or if they just put it on hold for now while they're doing other stuff. But you know, if you further out, again, if you can get high enough, I don't know what the elevation is. I've been to Las Vegas one time for about 4 days for a work conference, and that was it. I know I see Lake Mead all the time, YouTube videos about that drying up and stuff, but I don't know. My wife one day wants to do a driving trip all through here, especially me with the Westerns and stuff that I used to watch and stuff, but you know, and just for Diva Azalino, Chug Water still open, buddy. Maybe I need to do like a ransom, like a reward for anybody who gets the first station up in Chugwater. You know, I'll give you a bunch of sorry tokens, Entropy, Wingbits, or something like that, just so we can always say eventually we got one in Chugwater. But I'm gonna tell y'all, for those who haven't seen, Chugwater is the town that time forgot. Unless you want to live in I keep telling everybody I'm gonna have to get a device set up like. I think that's gonna be my only bet is getting 619 to set me up with a remote device that I can just go in the middle of the mountain and just plug it on in. I think that's the only way that's gonna work. A lot of sand, a lot of dirt. Well, maybe if I can get one on a mountain somewhere. That's about it. So there really isn't a lot of see, that is beautiful because see, when you grew up in Louisiana, all you saw is flat land. And it looks like something out of a postcard, man. You know what? One day I will go visit Chugwater. How far is that from Denver? I gotta go to Denver for something late either this year or early next year. I might have to go do that. Let's see. Directions to here from Denver. That's only a 2-hour drive from Denver, straight north. See, I like Denver. Some people don't care for it. I liked it, but I appreciate everybody that. Make sure y'all hit the like button for me. I appreciate it. Grumpy May or Chugwater. I don't know about all that. Grumpy's from the South. You know, when it's below 40, not 40 below, but when it gets below 40 degrees, we shut down everything over here. I don't know. Like, if you saw my video with the snow, when we got like 8 inches of snow or something like that, we got early this year, we were shut down for days around here. These people don't know how to react. I love hunting in it, but I learned that a couple of years ago, I went to Missouri and it was Iowa, and it started snowing while I was hunting, and I was in a tree stand, and I just wanted, the whole time I kept telling everybody there, like, I just wanted to start snowing while I'm hunting. I just think that would be awesome. They're looking at me like I'm an idiot. I'm like, man, I'm from Louisiana. Normally we Thanksgiving hunting with shorts on and t-shirt because it's still 80 degrees. And like, yeah, well, okay, buddy, watch what you asked for. Watch what you asked for. It was miserable. It was absolutely miserable because, you know, of course it's raining at first, and then it starts snowing, and everything starts freezing, and you're slipping everywhere, and then you don't know if your gun's going to act right. Like, it was miserable. Now, the next day, once it had snowed, it wasn't as bad, but, you know, great. What I think of Encore. Listen, I'll be dead honest with you about Encore. Y'all know I'm dead honest with y'all. That's why y'all like this channel. Looking at what the test tokens are doing right now, I'm very concerned with the rewards. As far as the project is concerned, it seems to be very active. The fact that I think with at least the saving grace, if that's the word, as far as the miners are concerned, the people like us, is as long as you're willing to pay for the $200, $300 device or whatever it is, and the splitter or whatever else you need, you can put it to your GeoNet station. I'm into Encore because I have one station that somebody split with me, and I have it hooked up to my GeoNet station. And so therefore, you're making, I really haven't messed with it. I haven't had to mess with it. I didn't get a chance really to talk about this GeoNet thing because I don't want to take up too much of your time. My stomach's hurting me, so I really have to stop. But, you know, this whole new GeoNet bonus thing, I haven't even looked into it. I know I was supposed to. My point is, Encore seems to be active. They seem to be wanting to do stuff. We see them talking about partnerships and different things like that. I think that's very proactive. I think that's very positive. But kind of like this attitude we're starting to have about several different deep end projects. The question y'all have to look in the mirror is this: how much does your love for a project equal not getting paid? I love Wingbits to death. I love Wingbits to death. Y'all know that. But the day that I start losing money, or Wingbits wants me to sign up for a subscription, the subscription costs more than I'm rewarding, my love for the project stops. And that's me being dead honest with y'all. Demo wanting people to join up for a project that it's going to cost me more for subscription than I'm making, I'm not in love with that project. The same thing with Encore. Encore, you're buying the stuff, but at some point, if rewards get to be complete crap, do you continue? I'm hoping that when Encore goes mainnet, they got some kind of bonus, some kind of boost, because right now I have been in Encore for several months, and when I looked at what the testnet rewards, because somebody asked me to go look, it was horrible. Horrible. Even at least GeoNet, you're making $2 after the halving. Encore is horrible. So GeoNet at home pretty much went to zero thanks to Wingbits. You know the snake that runs Entropy is part of Encore. Oops, cat meat bag. Jay Styles, I've never heard that before. That's something. And you know what? I know you're not extremely happy with the Entropy project. It is what it is. Everybody's allowed their own opinion. I have no problem with somebody being a part of 3 or 4 different projects. If they're running them separately, they're not colluding or something either way, that doesn't bother me, and they can both be successful. You know, I don't think they're skimming profits off of one to make another or anything like that. I know people are very hesitant about Entropy, but you know, if you would have told me a year ago or 2 years ago, hey, I'm gonna give you this project, you can get in this project, but you can't sell and stuff like that, I'd be like, he's crazy. But again, it's a cool, fun project to be a part of. They have made it no secret. Any of the stuff that they're pulling right now, I don't even want to use the word pulling. Anything that they're doing right now, there's nothing that they're doing that they didn't tell us they were going to do. You knew about Jeter Deleter before you got into it. Hell, when you go buy an Ashlar in 2 or 3 days from Helium Deploy, you have to read the rules that they're going to tell you about. And then before you can order it, you have to check the box saying, I read that. You have to buy it. People like, you know, what do you think about, you know, how to buy an NFT? We knew that. I even did a video. I did a video on that and said, before you buy an Ashlar, watch this video, because we knew the rules and the stipulations with the project. If you don't want to be in a project that has those kind of stipulations and rules, don't buy it. Don't get into it. You know, I did this video that said, stop before you buy an Entropy Ashlar miner. Watch this video. I even put chapters in for people. Discussed how people were getting banned. You know, but I know there's people in my Entropy in my Discord that feel they have to go into the Entropy channel and warn people or something. They're saying that you're mining nothing. You're mining a D-pin meme coin, whatever the hell that is. I understand that if I wake up and listen, it's the same with several different projects. Of all the 15 projects I go over on Mondays, I can tell you right now, Entropy is not the number one that I'm worried about, that if I wake up tomorrow, they're no longer in business. They got 2 or 3 right now that I'm not going to call out this video that I don't know how they're making it. The only way I can think they're making it is because of money they got in fundraising or seed money or whatever you want to call it. But I also didn't pay anything to really get into those, so I don't give 2 craps. But I understand. I still think and listen, despite without telling y'all all my secrets and all my, when I private message people and I DM people, that stays between me and that person. I don't tell y'all what I talk to a lot of these people who are in this Discord, into this YouTube channel right now. I talk to several of them through DM, PMs, Messenger, whatever you want to talk to them. And that message, that's between us. Sometimes they'll say, hey, you can repeat this, but it didn't come from me or whatever like that. And I honor that. But what I'm getting at is I have told certain people, even in that project, at some point, people are going to have to sell. And I've even told people in that project that The more people that get in there and the more people that can't sell for a longer period of time, everybody's going to have a trigger point. The one thing wrestling taught me, and I've told y'all this many times, maybe I need to go add this to Grumpy's Rules. The $1 Million Man taught me this in the 80s. Everybody's got a price. I can sit here and tell y'all all day I will never sell Entropy. But we all know, and several of us can sit here and tell people, I will never sell Entropy. I'll never sell Entropy. But we all got, not that right now. Right now, we could still be literally saying, I'll never sell it. But somewhere programmed in the back of our brain that we can't see right now, kind of like Order 66 in Star Wars, if y'all have seen Star Wars. When you look at that Phantom wallet, you're going to see a magic number pop up, especially if the price keeps going up like this. That some of y'all are going to say, F this, I'm out. Let's be honest. And I keep trying to tell those guys with Entropy that even the hardest people that are in that Discord, at some point, either something's going to happen in their life, an emergency is going to come along. I've told them guys about my emergency between me doing taxes, this surgery, what's going on with my family, something else happened at my house. And they even said, dude, sell, do what you got to do. And I didn't. But at some point, somebody's going to see that number in that Phantom wallet, and something's going to happen in their life that's going to trigger them and say, F it, I'm selling, and what's going to happen? All I got to go do is buy another Ashlar and another NFT and get right back into it. And I'm telling them at some point, whether it's Ashlar, whether it's Entropy B iteration, Entropy C iteration, like they're saying, if it's when they get into a CEX, whatever's going to happen, at some point, they're going to have to allow people to sell. And that's my 2 cents on it. And I have not hid that fact in the past. I've not hid that fact in my Discords or in other videos. HB can't go out of business until I sell my creds. But again, that's why I don't know if you were here in the beginning, Sidewinder, but that's what I let off with. Is even though right now I can't sell my Entropy, I can buy NFTs and sell NFTs. So if it costs me, and of course the last NFT I bought cost a little bit more because the price of Entropy went up so much, that one hurt. But either way, if I bought an Entropy, if I bought an NFT for $150, I didn't really lose anything because I mined that Entropy. I made it out of nothing. It's nothing, remember? But if I go and sell that NFT to somebody and he buys it for $150, then technically in the long way around it, I got to sell $150 worth of Entropy. I just paid off, here you go, just paid off one of these Ashlars. If it works out like that. But then there's a point of me that I got scared. I'm like, okay, how many do I need to do that? Do I need to take that chance? Because then I'm not holding as much Entropy. Then I keep telling myself, well, why hold us Entropy if you can't sell it? And I kept going around in this circle. And then the pain meds kicked in. And I'm like, what was I thinking about again? So, I don't know. Hey, DeFi Zelino bought so many NFTs, he had to get a separate wallet to hold them all. So, if he's still here, I thought that dude bought like 25 NFTs the first time around. But, we'll see. We'll see. Sold an Ashlar on eBay and paid for all of his. I'm going to tell you, the community is cool and great if you get along with all of them. It's different. And when people ask me about their Discord, I can tell you, I'll tell everybody it's different. These people are very passionate about it. Somewhat childish. I call it what it is. I guess because I'm older, I can say that. And I still would love, I was so upset when they were having a thing going on in New York last week and that I missed it by a couple of days because I wanted to go hang out with them dudes. Now, I'll probably be the oldest dude in the room. I probably won't be dressed as hip as they do. Like if you saw what they were dressed on their X, definitely wasn't going to be that hyped and that hip. But same thing. It's a different crowd, different Discord. And if you go in there and you're negative about the project, you're going to get dissed and you're going to get smacked. And that's all there's to it. Ask some of these guys that are in this Discord, right? In this YouTube live right now. One of them who was here early, he said he was leaving to go to lunch, but go ask who fought it. Who fought it, last I knew, was in a love-hate relationship with the project. He loves the project, but the poor dude has been so scarred from it because if he goes and asks any question in there at this point, he gets smoked. He gets flamed. And it's almost like an ongoing joke of this problem. But he's so passionate and loves the project that it's kind of like one of those things like, in high school I played football. I'm not proud to say, but there might have been one or two guys smaller dudes in my classroom that I would mess with and joke around with and stuff. I wouldn't really say bully him because I would get bullied too because of my weight sometimes. But if I also saw them in a hallway or on not the playground, because in high school you didn't really have playgrounds, but at lunch and stuff like that, if I saw somebody messing with them, we had a problem. If that makes sense at all. Like, hey, it's okay for me to joke around with my little buddies, but if you go joke around or you bully my little buddies, you and me have a freaking problem. And that's kind of how I think he is right now. Is the dude's passionate about the project. They all joke around with each other. They rib on each other. But I still think it's almost like a family now. And that's just how I describe them. And those guys are passionate about that project. They're doing all the Solana stuff, going to all these Solana spaces. They're collaborating with all these different projects. If they were planning on just, to me, and listen, I know this is not financial advice. I don't know these guys. I've never personally shook their hand. But people who are so worried about they're skimming off all this entropy and one day they're going to pull the rug and leave. I can't believe that. I just can't. And I could be wrong. And one of y'all might, this could happen tomorrow. And some of y'all might just copy this video. But I'm just willing to say that they have put their faces. They've did too many AMAs with helium deploy and all this stuff like that. They have their faces online, even though they might call themselves Professor Lambo. Everybody knows who they really are. They've did AMAs. They've did videos. They've put their faces out, collaborating with all these different projects, with helium deployed, all these different places and projects. They know that if they did anything like that, they'd be burned in crypto forever. Somebody just said how, yeah, one guy's involved with another project also. So do you realize what you're saying is if Entropy skipped town and pulled the rug on people, you realize what that would do for their whole other project they're involved in? Now, you want me to sit here and tell you that I 100% know that they're not slowly selling some Entropy on the side and nobody can tell? I'm not vouching for that part. But for all the stuff they do, if it's little bitty amounts, I don't care. Because they don't take anything when they're not taking anything as you mine it. Like, do I agree with the whole 10% tithe thing that goes for pushing Entropy into other projects? No. And I'll voice my opinion on it and got outvoted. But it's not my project. I choose to be in it. Now, this thing could get rug pulled next week and I look like ass. I need to go take a pain pill. Y'all got me killing. You hurt me with my stomach. But family or cult, but okay. Listen, cult 1000%. You look up crypto cult. Y'all think the XRP army is bad? XRP ain't got chit, CHIT, so I don't get in trouble with YouTube. CHIT, chit. XRP ain't got chit on the entropy cult. I'm going to say something negative about XRP on my Monday videos. I still think you'll never see a $10 XRP, and I'll have people come flame me. I don't think you'll see a $5 XRP this bull run, no matter what happens. Coin market cap all day. Anyway, and you will have a couple of people who come and try to say something negative about me. I still say it's the only reason why Wendy O continues to say something positive about XRP every day is because she's so scared of the XRP army. But you go into Entropy and start talking smack. You would think that you were in Compton, California, and you had something red on and crossed the wrong street to the blue territory. If y'all know what I mean. Cult, yes. But these days for projects, that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. You want people to support the project. XRP, I still say, listen, I had a bag of XRP, and when that SEC thing came down 3-4 years ago, I sold it all and bought Atom and Cardano with it, and that was one of the best moves I made. I made so much profit on it. It was still $1 something maybe, and I still think I did wonderful on it, and I still think XRP needs to look at the growth they've had from years ago to where they're at now, number 4 or 5 or whatever it is, and they need to be blessed that that's where they're at. And to sit here and think that they're going to go to a $10 XRP that's going to put them over Ethereum, they need to put the crack pipe down. Put it down. Crack is bad for you. Crack is whack. Crack is whack. Oh, 3, 4. So yeah, you get a $10 XRP, you're gonna be above Ethereum. It ain't happening, dude. It ain't happening. Especially right now, where you got Wendy O telling everybody Ethereum's the greatest thing, and Ethereum, this is the time to get Ethereum. And what's people doing? They're jumping Ethereum. Ethereum's up 13% in 7 days. Yeah, then the gas fees are so high when you try to move it. God bless you. I'll wait. Yeah, remember that $12, $10, $12 people who are in my Helium group on Helium on Facebook, and I kept telling everybody, don't turn your back on Solana. Oh, Solana's done. You're an idiot. You're buying it at $8, $10, $12. You're an idiot. Yeah. This is one I can't believe. I hold up a huge bag of this. Come on, baby. I ain't buying no more, but I hold a huge bag, and I bought it low. I need this one to do something, and the one that's going to kill me the most, the one that I can say I was never right. See this one right here too? I own 31,000 tokens right now, and the all-time high was $1. I told y'all that before. Oh man, look how low this one's good. Y'all know I'm still buying it. Well, I was buying it. I haven't really bought any more of that. But y'all know what I'm listening right here. This is going to be the one that is going to make me look like a fool. This one right here. Because I was stacking bags up since 2019. And I was stacking bags this whole way. And I was stacking bags this whole time, 30, 40, 30, 20. And I've been stacking bags this whole way. And I think 2025 was when I said, I'm not buying no more. So I guess as I was buying it at $4 and $5 and $6, that kind of brought my average price down. The only thing that's really saved me, I think, with Atom is the 23% staking, 24% staking on Exodus, because I own a big bag of this. And I have to just think that the amount after holding this for 4 years, I guess almost 5 years in Exodus with 24% staking is paying itself off to help me out. But XRP, guys, I don't know. I mean, I tell you, I got a buddy that went and bought crazy and bought like $10,000 worth of XRP when he got some kind of money from something without asking me. And now it's calling me every other day, wanting to know when $5, when, because he bought that like 270, 260, 270. And he wants to know when $5. But everybody told me it's going to $100. I was like, dude, it can't go to $100. Yeah, they said, don't worry about market cap. You can't say don't worry about market cap. Every crypto has a market cap. And you have to do the math. Now, if you go burn a gigantic amount of it, I don't know. We're getting way off topic. It's getting too late. We're going, I didn't want to be online this long. Yeah, I'm not an Ethereum fan. Like I was an Ethereum fan when I was mining it with all my GPUs, of course. That's how I got deep into Voxcoin. That's how I learned about mining and stuff. Was I had GPUs, 1080 Ti's maybe or something like that. Pluses or something, I can't remember. We make almost $20 a day in Ethereum. And then they had to go change all this stuff, and I sold my whole mining rig and everything like that. And then moving the gas and all that stuff like that was killer. That's why I don't buy any alts that are Ethereum based. But hey, you got people who are trying to say that, Ethereum is the key to the next alt season. Told y'all when this fear and greed was down here, I told y'all. Oh hell, I'm looking at this and I'm not even showing y'all. Let's see. Fear and greed index. Y'all can say what y'all want about it. But I was telling y'all, I did a video about when to buy, and this thing was way down here, and I told y'all, jump on it. Jump on it. I'm telling y'all, I did a video about about a month ago, maybe a little bit less than that, on when alt season. Y'all need to go watch the video because I've been keeping up with those guys, and everybody thinks alt season, Bitcoin jumped up, and now we're going to take profits. Here comes the alt season. We've heard that 4 times so far in the last 3 months. So, me, I'm in the boat. I'm in the camp of, I'm split. I'll be honest with you, I'm split. If I bought Bitcoin really, really low, I would take profits. That's just me. I would take some kind of profits. And then when it crashes again next week in 2 weeks, I did my little chart. On my Monday video, and people made fun of me because it doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense to me. But I told everybody last Monday and this Monday on Bitcoin, it's going to bounce, come here. And I said, if it keeps doing this and it keeps getting away from this, it's going to jump up. And what's it do? Now it throws it all off. So it's curious. I drew this line back here somewhere. And I kept telling y'all, watch this, but again, I don't know what I'm talking about. We'll see. But last cycle for them, in my opinion, Jay Styles, it's a part of me, don't disagree with that. But me agreeing with that goes against everything I've talked about in the last 2 years. That's on, to be honest with everybody, I know I'm on this channel. That is what hurts me, is because I have a spreadsheet that I made in the beginning of the last bear run, whatever you want to call it, and showed all these alts that were 90 to 95%, these main, what they call boomer alts, the Cardanos, the Atoms, the Vets, and a bunch of these other tokens that were down 90+% from all-time high, that if you buy them all now, just if they go to all-time high, you should make this, this, and this. And I had a bunch of friends follow it, and it's not even, it's still just as bad. And if we don't have alt season, I'm going to look like an absolute fool. But I still say these ETFs, for how much these ETFs with Bitcoin helped us, it hurt the alt people, because the alt season, or the altcoin market, because mama and daddy and grandpa and granny who want to get into Bitcoin or want to get into crypto, their stockbrokers who didn't know much about crypto before are using those ETFs to buy what? Bitcoin. It don't matter what ETFs come out after that. And you saw that. You didn't see a huge run with Ethereum. Or people think, oh, XRP is going to $10 because of their ETF. And then you saw Solana supposed to be coming out with an ETF. And there was another one last week. Crow was supposed to be coming out with an ETF. Listen, I want Crow to go back to $1. But there's only so much in ETF money to go around. It ain't going to have this big jump like Bitcoin had. But Jay Styles, that is the most accurate comment you made tonight. Got to be Solana, because even normies know about Solana, Phantom more than Ethereum and MetaMask. But I haven't moved. Before I make this comment, this might be a stupid ass non-comment I'm about to make, because I might not know, because I don't move Ethereum no more. But when you compare right now, if I had to move let's just say Helium, which is on Solana network, from one wallet to another wallet, or from Helium to Solana, it's happening that fast compared to when I had to move anything with Ethereum, whether it's coin to from wallet to wallet or converting this coin to Ethereum. The Solana was way faster. And don't get me wrong, there's some other projects out there, stuff that's faster also, but Solana was, I mean, compared to Ethereum. So was accurate, beacon of light and truth. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to go. I'm hurting, but I appreciate it. It was fun to catch up with all y'all. Look, I had 25, 26 people watching, which is probably a new record for me, and I appreciate it. Just please make sure you hit that like button. I appreciate it. I know YouTube changed the whole ad thing. I don't know how many ads y'all are seeing. I don't have any control of that. It's either ads are on or ads are off. So whoever y'all seeing, I hope it didn't disrupt y'all too much. Remember, Entropy Ashlar is going on sale. If any of y'all, one of my no majority of y'all people here watching, y'all, you know, majority of people watching already have them, but if there's anybody new that doesn't get Entropy Ashlar yet, y'all want one, just help a brother out. Use the code. I'll make $4 or $5 off of it. I appreciate it. And for the people who sent the super chats tonight, hey, I appreciate that also. It's a good early birthday present from me. Like I said, I got my birthday coming on. I can tell you all my exact day, but it's over in the next couple of days this weekend. Hit the big 50. So I tell y'all, the older you get, you start worrying about what you're leaving for your kids and that kind of stuff. So 10, 20 years, even 10 years ago, I didn't worry about death. I didn't worry about what's going to happen to me after or anything like that. My kids are getting older. My son's starting college in a month. My daughter's be a senior in high school. And you start getting close to 50, you start having these issues like I'm having. I still say going to the gym for 30 years since I've been out of high school, probably did more wear and tear on my body because I never really quit going to the gym. I think I did more wear and tear on my body than I did helping it. But you start worrying about, you lay in bed at night. I don't even like going to sleep at night because going to sleep at night brings me one, this might be funny, but it's one day closer to that end day. And that bothers me. I have a huge fear of that. It's just me. So now where I was thinking about what am I going to do with all this crypto stuff is what do I want to leave for my kids? Where before you couldn't wait for your kids to move out. What I'm looking at now, I'm looking at trying to find some place, maybe in North Louisiana, huge piece of land for a compound. I've been watching compound videos that, hey, my wife and I can have our house here, way on the other side of the big stretch of land, like where you can't see them, but you can get to it on 4-wheeler or ATV. My daughter can have her house, and way on this other side, my son can have a house. So we're all kind of close enough, but just far enough away where there's a strip of trees in the middle. And that's kind of the goals you start setting. And that's just what life is for me now at this point, is me and my family. It's just funny how things change when you get older. 10 years ago it was about toys and what can I buy and different things like that. And now that's what it's about. For some of y'all, it might be happening. Some of y'all might not have kids yet. You have no idea what I'm talking about, but that's life. But we're going to do it all together. Don't know what's going to happen with this whole bull run, Bitcoin, alt season, Wingbits, Entropy, stuff like that. But hey, we could get through it together, and I'll keep bringing y'all the news and try to keep pumping out videos for y'all. So appreciate all y'all support. Appreciate all y'all support. I appreciate everybody who was asking about me while I was down in the hospital and trying to recover and stuff like that. And hopefully I can get back on my feet soon with all this. So appreciate everybody. Thank y'all. See y'all later.